Great to have you with us on a Tuesday. It is a daily tip from BetQL, presented by our good friends at BetMGM. Chelsa, you know what day it is. It's Tiki Tuesday. It's always a day when I like to go out, have a couple drinks, just sort of prepare myself for the week ahead, relax a little bit. But there's always a challenge, which is, I get going, have a couple drinks, I'm feeling good. You want to keep the good times going, and then you're like, it's 7:30. I need to go to bed. So it's the yin and yang of trying to enjoy myself and get out of my house, because during the week, I don't know how you are. I don't have a kid. It's just me. So especially when I'm working from home, I'm just sitting around, have nothing to do. So I need to get out and just sort of clear my mind and just get out of the house, which is good for me. But then I get out, I'm having such a good time, I forget, dude, you're waking up at 3 a.m. You got to go to bed now. It's an eternal struggle.
That's what naps are for, Jenks. I think if you have one fun night a week where, you want to enjoy yourself, and I think that's a good idea to try to break up the week and put something fun where you have something to look forward to, just take a nap the next day. Like, what do you have on the schedule for tomorrow? Like, can you take a nap?
Yeah, I have nothing to do except for this show. That's it. That's a good idea. I need to work on my nap time. That's what I need to do. I need to work on good, because sometimes when I nap after this show, I do okay, but I don't really nap. Like, I need a good, strong nap. So that's a good idea, Chelsea. After this show, since you seem to be the expert here, what do? You go straight to bed, you kind of wind down. What do you do before you wake up again and you say, okay, it's time to hit the playground?
No, I don't nap directly after the show because nobody wants to go straight to bed after work. Like, you want to relax for a little bit, make breakfast. I normally nap around 2 or 3, and then I wake up at like 5, and then I try to watch some games. So that's what I do so I can watch some of these later games, because if I didn't take a nap, like, there's no way I'm staying up for any games.
That's really smart. I might try the Chelsa Messinger method. That's a good idea, because normally what I do is I hit a wall about, I don't know, around 11:30 in the morning. Then I sleep till around like 1:30. Then I'm up for the rest of the day, and then I turn in early. But you may have a special science here. You may have it down. So I think I'm going to tell you on that, in addition to your bets as well.
Yeah,
it is a daily tip.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just saying it's something that I practiced a lot in college because I had swim practice twice a day. And so I had to nap to get through the day. But a lot of times that nap would fall right in the middle of class. So maybe not the best strategy.
Oh, God, it's evolved over time. It is a daily tip from BetQL presented by BetMGM. She's Chelsa Messinger. I'm Michael Jenkins. Coming up next on BetQL Daily, the Joes and Aaron discuss what to make of the Raptors needing overtime to beat the shorthanded Celtics. I know what to make of it. I'm a big loser for this guy because I was on the Raptors. If you missed our debate over what the Niners are going to do with Jimmy G, you can download and subscribe to the Daily Tip wherever you get your podcasts, and make sure you download those. We have all the show broken up into different sections, so you don't have to listen for 3 straight hours. If you want to, that's great, but we break it down from NBA to March Madness, NFL. Download the Daily Tip wherever you get your podcasts. Okay, Chelsea, wasn't our best night last night. In fact, you saved our bacon with a player prop. So let's see if we can both get on the right side tonight and go 2-0. Let's find out who we have the most faith in today.
Today's best bets.
I'm for baseball to come back so you can stop betting on the NBA, because the NBA can be exhilarating but also incredibly frustrating. But you're going back to the well tonight.
Yeah, looking at a total in the Pistons and Nets game, this total is already pretty high at 231. And then looking at both of these teams, they've been hot to the under. You think about the Pistons, it's not an offensively gifted team. Jeremy Grant now out for the season as well. And you look at the last 5 meetings between these two teams, only one game in the last 5 has hit over this number. The last 5 meetings between Brooklyn and Detroit, all 5 have gone. Oh, I guess only one game has hit the over, but all 5 have gone under this number of 231, because it is a high total. Because I was looking at some other unders on the board, but this is a pretty high total. And looking at a spread this big, which the spread is getting even bigger. It was 12.5. I think it's 13.5 in some places. When you think about blowout games, usually they're not overs because we see the starters taken out. And I think it's probably going to be that type of game for Brooklyn where we don't see much of a second half. So if it's a blowout, I think that points towards the under as well. And Brooklyn actually has hit the under in 3 of their last 4 games. So I think it's a little contrarian kind of thinking about all the offensive firepower that the Nets have. But also, you've got to play the number. And I think the number is a touch too high at 231.5. So I'll take the under in the Nets and Pistons game.
Nice. Okay. I am going back to the well with hockey, and buyer beware, because it's been a little losing streak for this guy. So I'm trying to get back on the right side here, and I'm going to go to Pittsburgh. I hate the Pens, but I'm not going to fade them just because I don't like them. I am going to take the under here. The total right now is set at 5.5 as they host the New York Rangers. You get the Rangers at plus 135 on the money line at BetMGM. Pens are minus 160. I'm going to bet under 6, and it's been juiced to minus 120 just to give myself a little extra leeway there. I really don't like totals when they're set at 5.5. Not a ton of juice to lay, but what I'm doing here is just banking on the fact that when these two teams play, it tends to be a really tight matchup, particularly now as teams are jockeying for playoff position, and you have 2 exceptional guys in net. That's really the key here. Igor Shesterkin for the Rangers. Then you have Tristan Jarry for the Pens. The last time these two teams met, we got a low-scoring 1-0 shutout by the Pens. That's where the money is headed. I think it's the right side here. I think we're going to see a very, very similar game than we saw the last time these two teams met. So give me the under 6 goals. That's juiced to minus 120 at BetMGM. And let's finally have a hockey pick come home. Chelsea?
Finally? Last week, you were super hot. That was just a few days ago. So
That's
you
true.
need to pipe down. You're being negative on the show, and your vibes are rubbing off on the rest of us.
All right. Sorry. That's normally your job to be negative. I'm normally the overly positive one. Okay. Sorry about that. Let's get right with the 8 ball.
Yeah, to quote LeVar Ball, stay in your lane, Jinx.
Oh, my God, Chelsea. Lord.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Oh, man. All right, 8 ball. 8 ball's staying in his lane, and all he does is, have his little segment at the end of the show where he fades or tails our pick. So 8 ball, do we like the under in the Rangers and Penguins game? Most likely.
Oh, well, it's about time, 8 ball. All you've done is been this, schizophrenic. You never know what to get from the 8 ball. Not consistent at all. You never know. So let's see if he likes your basketball pick.
Jenks, it's like the same 8 answers that are in here. So
I guess
I think it's pretty consistent.
Also true.
All right, 8 ball. Do we like the under in the Pistons and Nets game? Don't count on it.
Oh, let's get into the 8 ball. Do you think it's because that you picked him up with your feet yesterday and he's a little bitter about that? Like, no respect, like you have hands, you can grasp me, and instead I say, get the 8 ball, Chelsea, and I see you, I think, oh, she's going to lean over with her hands and grab the 8 ball, and instead I see you turn in your chair and extend your legs. I'm like, she's picking up that 8 ball with her feet.
No, Jenks, I've got great feet. So how dare you? The 8 ball should be honored that I'm picking up him with my feet. Because, toes work, too. And the sense of accomplishment you get when you pick up something with your toes, it's exhilarating.
God. Well, if you ever go swimming, because you're a big swimmer, and you happen to lose an arm via a shark attack, I hope that never happens, you're in good hands. Actually, I was going to say in your good hands. You've got the feet to make sure that you're still able to make it through life.
Yeah, and we've just gained Rex Ryan as a follower of the show. So, win-win.
And you're wearing the old Jets colors, I see. So it looks like the feeling goes both ways there, Chelsea. If you want to see the Magic 8 ball, you can. We're on Twitch, twitch.tv/BetQL. That is twitch.tv/BetQL. We try and get there in the chat as well and interact with you. So make sure you do that. And you can see the 8 ball in the flesh. Time now for our BetQL 5-star best bet for insight, analysis, historical trends, and more 5-star best bets. Download the BetQL app. Well, let me tell you something, Chelsea. When the old chalk donkster has a bad night, he went 1-2 last night. I went 0-1. Now, those are both losing records. But objectively, which one is worse? Which person lost 1 bet and which person, animal, lost 2 bets? The donkster did. So once... What? You're lonely in the studio? Well, donkster, maybe if you started winning your bets and prove that you're a valuable member of this family, you wouldn't be left alone in the dark with no food and no company. It's your own fault. What do you think about that, Donkster?
Oh,
Aw.
same answer. It's always
Same
the same
answer
answer.
every
Jenks,
time.
I think it's a great bar to set for yourself to always compare yourself to a stuffed animal that doesn't have a brain. Like, I want to compete with somebody like that for my.
Chelsea, guess what? That's why I usually win, because I have the advantage. If you think about it, I've set the bar where I'm like, you're comparing yourself to an inflatable donkey with no brain, and that's why I usually come out on top. So people might think it's foolish. I think I got something going on up here. I'm the guy with a couple marbles knocking around, okay? He's got nothing.
Oh my God. Jinx, I was going to lean towards some player props, but they won't list them. Those cowards over at the sports books won't put up the player props just yet. I know it's really early in the morning, but there was a couple guys I kind of had circled for good spots tonight. The point guard of the Wizards, Thomas Satoransky. Did I say that right?
Satoransky. You got it.
Satoransky. We have seen him. He's the starting point guard for the Wizards now. They were trying out another guy, but in the past 2 games, it's been Satoransky, and the chemistry has been a lot better. I guess he played in Spain with Kristaps Porzingis, and we have seen him hit 7 assists or 6 assists, 7 assists in each of his last 2 games with 9 and 6 points. It doesn't seem like a lot, but I would imagine that this number is probably going to be pretty low because for the rest of the season, his numbers have been really low because he hasn't played much. So sometimes you can find an edge at the books when a guy has not been playing much and they get more minutes, and maybe you will see a very low number. So maybe look at his assists or his points because the Bulls allowed the most points to point guards in the NBA. So maybe something to look at.
Also, very quickly, the Donkster likes the Nets laying 13.5 against the Pistons, and Washington State plus 105 against Texas A&M in the NIT Final Four. Up next on BetQL Daily, Nikola Jokic got his 19th triple-double last night. The Joes and Aaron debate whether he's done enough to wrestle the MVP away from Joel Embiid. This is a Daily Tip for BetQL presented by BetMGM. See you bright and early tomorrow, 6 a.m. Bye.